So this is just a slide. You guys don't need to read this. It's got a lot of text. We sort of stole it from the medicine PowerPoint just to have it here. And I just wanted to keep this slide here because it has some form of nostalgic element for some dental students. I know in Manchester, when I first came onto dentistry, the first thing that we did was have an affirmation ceremony, which is a white coat ceremony. You come in your white coats, and all the academic professionals, all the doctors, all the consultants, all the dentists that are affiliated with the school come into one room, and you have to swear your oath. So this is the Hippocratic Oath, and it's on the slide for you to read if you want to. And we had to sit there with our hand in the air and repeat after the lady on the microphone. And it's sort of a nostalgic thing because when you graduate, this is sort of the same room that you'll graduate in, the same room that you took your oath in. Some universities do hold a lot of importance in this. Well, the ideas and the fundamentals behind this, because it's what led to the 4 principles of medical ethics. So that's on the next slide. So it just covers things such as beneficence, non-maleficence, autonomy, and justice. And I'm sure you guys have heard of this if you're preparing for UCAT. These are basically your ticket to answering any ethics question to the best of your abilities. So when it comes to personal statements, you can even talk about autonomy and patient autonomy. I know I did, and it was received really well by some interviewers during my interview. When it does come to your interviews, you might have certain stations that are completely ethics related. I know all the universities that I interviewed at had an entire station dedicated to ethics. So this is sort of what you want to be thinking about when you answer an ethics question. And we have some scenarios that will come up in the later slides. But yeah, the principles include beneficence, which is any action should always benefit the patient. So anything you do, any treatment, any plan, any options that you provide to your patients should benefit them, not harm them. And that sort of ties in with the second one, which is any action must not harm your patient physically and psychologically. A lot of prospective students and dental students and dentists forget about the second part, which is psychological harm. You want to make sure that you don't harm them in any form. You've got patient autonomy, which is really important, and it's the patient's right to make their own choices. And finally, you've got justice, which is considering if any actions have consequences on the wider community. So yeah, this is basically the principles. And if you know this back to front and are able to practice scenarios to the point where you're sort of checklisting these 4 points, you will definitely hit high scores in interviews when it comes to any ethics related scenarios.
Just to add as well is the 4 principles can be really, really useful in situational judgment in the UCAT. They can give you an understanding and a way to kind of go through how the scenario, just it's kind of like a checklist about what is the best option to do when you do have a scenario. And so I think this is really important for the situational judgment aspect of the UCAT.